So hello and welcome to the cast of the final of my Nomad only cup. We have the finalists here in the 1200 to 1500 ELO bracket. It's the Sonder versus Lowerdy. So both in the high 1400 low 1500 range. And with random sibs for game 1 here. For game 2 it's going to be reversed sibs and the loser's home map. And what random sibs you have? Lithuanians for the Sonder, that's a fantastic sib for Nomad. But Mayans are a force to be reckoned with as well. Because let's go to lower here. Because their resources last longer, so they have a great eco that could come in handy on Nomad. A bit unlucky with the TC placement here. Is probably going to be completing the TC slightly later than the Sonder here. But 3 villagers building. Lowerdy does as he has done in every Nomad game so far. He doesn't want to drop that dock right away. He wants to get the TC up first and get the house up, get the eco going a little bit, and then he goes for the dock and potential water control later on. It's not your most seen go-to play for Nomad, but hey, it's been working for him so far. As he is utilizing sheep to scout, that's very common on Nomad as well. Let me just fast forward a little bit just to make sure I am live with these players. Let's go to Sonder's side as well. He builds his TC on the left hand side here. We see Lowerdy with 1 villager lead. That's also because the Mayans spawn their extra starting villager once the TC is completed. That's subject to change though, because Sonder is Lithuanians. He starts with extra food, can focus solely on wood early on, and then he'll have an easier time getting those fishing ships out and evening out the actual production. Here comes the dock of Lowerdy as well though, so he still has the villager lead. Might not be too much of an issue after all. You'd argue that Lithuanians with their mobility and their fantastic cavalry in the Knights line getting a bonus attack from their relics are a good one against Mayans likely to go for the archers though, but Nomad is all about map control, and if you have the mobility and speed of the eagles, you could still get some raids in at different places at once and make life awkward for the enemy. So looking forward to see the progression here. This Sonder has taken the villager lead now. He is with 1 fishing ship out, so we should be looking at roughly similar villager numbers here. 1 more villager for Lowerdy, and just now producing his first fishing ship. Food income seems reasonable though from the scouting. Lowerdy knows about 2 rhinos, should have no trouble getting the resources and to the next stage here. Same with Sonder. Rhino over here, even some berries near the shoreline here and some hunt, so that's a perfect mill spot. And yeah, 2 rhinos. This might be a little bit far away, but you could use a sheep to block it or something on the way back if you have to. Decent scouting from Sonder as well. He did have 1 villager having to walk a long way here. What's good for the players early on though is that they're kind of sharing the map in 2 here. Dock on the right hand side for Lowerdy, dock on the left hand side for Sonder, and then there's TC is not like right next to each other here. Economy wise, Sonder is with a great start though. He's with 2 more villagers still, and might very well be the first player to click to the next age here. Lumber camp goes up for Sonder. That's the second building he'll be needing to get to the next age, whenever that will be. Dropping some houses along the shoreline as well. That's always nice to have because they provide a little bit of line of sight alongside the water. So if you see if the enemy goes for any warships from this direction, then Sonder will have a heads up and time to react before they reach his fish. Good scouting as well, making full use of the sheep for scouting here, and is just about to find Lowerdy's location. It's not far off here. Lowerdy with a little bit less scouting, but making use of villagers, You need a villager to build houses as well, so why not just task them to build houses here and there for some vision and to make use of them for scouting, as Lordy has been doing to some extent here. He has some barracks down here, still lacking the second building, but it's going to set up for maybe a 26, 27, 28 pop up here, depending on the income overall. 5 fusion ships up out for Lordy. Sonder is with 4 for now. But in exchange, going up to the fuel age here with 18 villagers, 22 pop total, and still some decent food income to go. I think he was kind of using a villager even to lure in the deer here. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Now sending the fishing ships to scout the shoreline. Very common to do on water maps, using one of your fishing ships to scout, and now Sonder is going to lower this investment on water, see that there's only one dock. I might get by with only one dock myself and make just a few fire galleys because I'm likely to be up earlier. That might be Sonder's line of thinking here now. Lowry actually pulls away his fish. I'm not sure what the idea is here. Might have run out of fish and need to find a new source. Yeah, not the best dock ever for Lowry here in terms of deep fish. It's just a far distance to travel to the next bit here as Sonder continues scouting, and already is at 2 docks as well. Nice dock down here with access to some deep fish in the corners. There's usually more deep fish in the larger, broader areas of water. Hey, Beowulf, yes, tourney hype indeed. Final was supposed to be played yesterday, but it had to be rescheduled, but here we are. So now we're finally getting to crown the winner of the higher bracket of the Nomad tourney as well. So Lordy with the barracks now, 5 on gold, could suggest both an investment on water and land here. He is mines, so he has the cheaper archers, but he may need to defend his fish as well, because having six fishing ships, it's no joke to lose that when you haven't made the transitions into farms just yet. The eco setup looks nice here though. It could be that Lordy could pull off a straight fast castle here as well and get that power spike. But the difference depends on how much Sonder will invest in the water fighting and land economy combined. They're both with 5 on gold though, so we will for sure be seeing some naval battles here. There's the fuel age in for Lordy as well, going for the very local walls here. Should probably mean a fast castle approach then, looking at the foods and golds here. The fish is more or less lost here unless Lordy goes for some defense. He goes into one fire galley here, but considering that Sonder has 2 docks producing, I'm not sure if it's even worthwhile for Lordy to try and salvage his fish now. Just better to just cancel the fire galley and go for that fast castle, these 2 buildings. Once the range is up, Lordy could just kick the castle age right just like that, while Sonder with the fuel age investment is going to lag behind in the uptime progress. Yeah, 3 versus 1 here, no reason for Lordy to invest more into water fighting for now. They'll just need to try and get back into it later on. Here comes the market as well. Could be for resource adjustment here to speed up the cast age click process, losing fish on water, but isn't strictly needed right now. So either Lowry has forgot that he needs a second building, doesn't need a second building here, or it's actually for adjustment purposes. And I think he just did. He did some resource tweaking here to get that cast age click. Double ranges now for Lowry, going to bring out those crossbows, and for now, it could be a good call here. It's not too far of a distance between the players. Lowered his setback here now being that he doesn't know Sonder's location. So if he walks in the wrong direction here now, that's going to buy Sonder time enough to get to the castle age himself and get to his knights, and then suddenly the crossbows of Lowerdy will have a limited success. Yeah, Doc will surely go down for Lowerdy. Should leave Sonder with a serious villager lead here as well. There's one fishing ship left for Lowerdy, and that's not going to contribute much to the whole here. Looking at the ups though, Sonder still not in the cast stage here, just missing a little bit of food. There's the click, going to be actually 70% behind to the cast age. Obviously with a stronger eco to back everything. Fish still alive, and yeah, gold investment here. Here comes the barracks. Wouldn't make sense for Lithuanians to go for anything else than knights right here, right now. Maybe skirmishers against the Mayans archers, of course, because Lithuanians have great trash as well. But now it's certainly lower this moment to deal some damage and try and take Sonder off gold here. Here comes the stable. Meanwhile, we have Lowerdy going into crossbows and using the spearman here to scout. So now he for sure knows Sonder's location. Might actually not know that there's a TC there. I think he just missed it. But archers soon to be crossbows could certainly contest this gold. So crossbow sees the stable foundation here, could be delayed a little bit from Sonder here. Yeah, he needs to back off on that one. Sonder does have, is going to have Knights production soon enough though. He's going getting bloodlines for the time being, wants that extra HP, and Castle is just around the corner here. So looking at the eco here, I think Sonder will need to extend the food eco to justify double stable Knights here, but doesn't change the fact that the castle age is in and Knight's production is in order. Let's see if the defense is in. First defense has to go with numbers over upgrades right now, I think. Another TC for Sonder as well, but Lowerdy on point here with some crossbows. Yeah, Sonder decides to bail that one. No, he goes for it after all. Nice placement of some annoying crossbows there from Lowerdy as well. He knows that Sonder, being this late to the castle, doesn't really have any means to deal with this easily until the knights are in the numbers. So keeping just 2 crossbows there, you're taking Sonder completely off wood here. Next TC goes up those, and Lowerdy committing to a 1 TC play for now. Let's see Sonder's reaction here. Good reaction from Lowerdy to pull the crossbows away, seeing the TC and not risking any hits there. Sneaky villager pick off at the cost of some HP loss to the town centers, of course. Mangonel in the making for the Sonder here. Sonder, think he knows the location of Lowerdy. Yeah, he's been over here, seen some farms. But Siege sorely needed. That's another villager pick off. Sonder still with a 12 villager lead overall though. Double TC is consistently producing, almost gets a nice attack ground in there, and here come the knights as well. Now with +2 armor, going to flank Lowerdy's army here, leaving Lowerdy with no escape. Mangonel on one side, knights on another. This could be a great fight for Sonder. Taking a choke point is not really an option for Lowerdy now because there's a Mangonel chasing. So Lowerdy has to hit and run, and make his armies prove worthwhile here. This is a decent shot for the Sonder, even though he damages his own army as well. Is now going to clean up most of the military numbers of Lowerdy here. Eco situation looks decent for both players though. Sonder with 100 stone still, Lowerdy with no stone. I think he actually sold the stone to have gold for army production and maybe upgrades. Monastery now for the Sonder, going to hunt those relics. Not too many relics on Nomad, it seems. I see one down here and one by the TC over here, I think. Should be 5 relics total. There's one in the north, one there. And Sonder has scouted at least 2 of them here. Very nice scouting by Sonder, actually. He knows almost everything on the map except for Lower East location. Okay, that one is cheering for Sonder. Yeah, that's our guy. Sonder is on my team for League of Empires, and so is Ogda one. Nice mangonel shot there, pulling towards the TC. Lower D knows the TC is here, cannot really keep chasing with great split though. Also, if you have the economy to back it, losing numbers, although you need to replenish them, the archers are cheaper for mines, so they have an easier time remassing them than many other civs on the same eco stance. Right now, military situation looks rough for Lowerdy though. No food income on water for Lowerdy, still on 1 TC and not really gaining any advantages. Sonder is actually on 3 TCs and consistently producing at least from one of them, but has the military lead here by far, 16 to 5 total here, and a nice run in to chase the small numbers of course. I think Sonder suspects that Lower D is low on army numbers here because he just cleaned up a huge mass, so he just chases with lights. Lower D decides to tap out, and understandably so. We will be going to Lower D's home map next. So, but it's a given all Lithuanians very strong on Nomad with the extra starting food. 39 to 10 KD, great defense for Sonder, leading to the inevitable attack, and the economy lead just huge. 54 to 39, took water early, secured the fish, food and common water, and then went into 2 and later 3 TCs on land against Lower D, who is still on 1 and doesn't have water. It's not really any easy way back from that, even if you're Mayans with the longer lasting resources. See the resource difference, all things considered. Lower D losing water and being behind, it's not that huge overall. So that's the power of Mayans income right there. Up times of key here as well though. Sonder earlier to the feudal age taking the water engagement, then slightly later to the cast stage, but gets to those Lithuanian knights, and that power spike. We'll be seeing a reverse civs for the next game. And if I were Lower D, I would go for Mountain Pass or Land Nomad to really play into Lithuanian's strengths, but we'll see what they go for. I'm gonna update the score and then wait for the players to launch. I have to mention as well that the Sonder is a very seasoned Nomad player. He's played a lot of Nomad throughout his Age of Empires career. So he is certainly a force to be reckoned with here, maybe even the favorite to win the whole tournament, but we'll see where it goes. They may have sent me the new match ID. Yep. There's still some background noise, but it's not annoying. Yeah, I can't really do much about that. What I could do is try this. Should be slightly better now. I'm just afraid it might affect my computer performance. We'll see. I am keeping my computer or my microphone close to the computer, and laptop fans are generally quite noisy. they already launched, and as suspected, they are going for land Nomad. So, this is Lowerdy's home map, this is game 2, and we have land Nomad. As you can see, the villager spawns can be a bit far off from each other. Lowerdy seems to have them kind of collected here, whereas the Sonder has one up here, one here, and one to the right hand side behind the steam thingy here. So Sonder has a larger walking distance, but it's all about choosing the perfect spot for his starting TC. Sonder finds a woodline and places the TC near woodline and stone here. So now if the players place their TCs not too far away from each other, like is the case here, Sonder is nicely set up for an early tower rush here with Mayans. We'll see how the game progresses, of course. Sonder committing one villager to scouting here actually. So he's not stressing 3 villagers to get the TC up, he is committing to scouting and will probably be using this villager to drop some houses along the way as well. Lots of pigs already doing some scouting for Sonder, going to get a grasp of the neutral resources here and hopefully also find Lowerdy's location. Quick fast forward to catch up with live action here. On the other side we have Lowerdy here with a small pause. Could be that he wants to call the restart, which is perfectly okay. They have two restarts per player for this best of 5. The only release restarts has to happen before minute 4, as you just called it. No questions asked. Okay, just yeah, it's a restart. Well, it's actually Sonder calling the restart. Could be because of the villagers being as far away as they were. Not an ideal start for the Sonder. Likely falling behind in the production. So that's perfectly fine. We'll be looking for the game after the restart here. So Sonder, he called the restart because he was looking for the water. He wasn't aware it was actually land Nomad. So that's that's a bit unfortunate there. But they have 2 restarts. That's one for Sonder, so he'll be having one more if needed. Okay, looks like they are on it again here. So we had a restart. Sonder called the restart. He was scouting for the water apparently in the previous game, and he's not gonna find any of that on land Nomad. Chemically free for water here, only woodlines, lots of golds and stones to be taken. So these kinds of map could actually result in really long games if the players are equally matched and have good starts. But so far in this tournament we have barely had any games go well past the 1 hour mark, so anything could happen here. So Sonder dropping one house, dropping the TC on a woodland again here. Seems to have decent access to golds and stones. He could secure himself early on by walling off here, or here and here, for example, and then he has lots of gold and stone access and somewhat secured base. The right hand side is a bit more open though, so we'll see how this progresses for them. Committing one villager to a bit of scouting here to see if there are any more boars or sheep to be taken nearby, but all in all, decent food eco start for Sonder anyway. He has seen the hunt over here, he knows there's hunt over here. Only thing is missing is some more pigs to scout and get some more intel on the map, so that could be a bit of a setback. But with the Mayans resources lasting longer, that's going to come in handy as well. Not sure where this guy is going actually. So that's the extra villager for Mayans. Sonder is committing that one to scouting. He will need to collect food very soon though, otherwise he'll be struggling for villagers production after the first 3. And there we go. He'll be going for the boar soon enough. And finds another boar a bit further away, so let's see if there's going to be... Is this going to be enough for the Sonder here? He's only one with... No, he's definitely going to have some idle time here because he's bringing in the board just now. And what's going to save Sonder even having some idle time here is the fact that he is Mayans and gets one other villager instantly. Nice thing for Mayans though, since Sonder dropped the house first before the TC is up, he is not pop capped being Mayans here at the very beginning. So he can actually start the game without being pop capped and bring in the boar and have an absolute minimum of idle time here, just delaying loom for a bit later. So I love that approach here. Lower this side though, he's never going to struggle with idle time, not anytime soon though, because he's starting with 150 extra food as Lithuanians here. He's taking some hunt now. The hunt collects faster, so that's a good call. More food, more quickly collected as well. Does not commit a lot of sheep to scouting here, and I'm not sure if this was probably starting villagers, so I'm not sure if Lordy knows that Sonder is over here. If he pays attention to his scouted areas though, he might be seeing something in the fog of war later on. So we see Sonder here lacking sheep or pigs rather to scout. He commits one villager to scout the map for a bit, finds another food source here. Might want to even risk luring in this one actually, we'll see. He does so indeed, and is going to bring in the boar for some, well, sorely needed food income at home here. Mills the deer, you'll need 2 buildings to click up anyway, so might as well just mill some of the hunt if you see an opportunity. Then a second building will be needed at some point as well. Could maybe be justifiable having that be the barracks for the Mayans, because you have a secure wood income under a TC here anyway. You won't necessarily need to rush that lumber camp other than to get the wood upgrades from the feudal age onwards. What I see on Land Nomad sometimes as well is people dropping the barracks rather early, because you could get 1 or 2 militia out and start scouting the map with them as well. Lowerty with a very healthy food income here now, but is also 3 villagers behind, so he must have had some idle time here along the way. Loom plays in as well, of course. I think they both have loom here, so that's another factor for the economy as well when you take loom and not. I think that comes down to the Mayans player getting 1 villager instantly and not being pop capped at the beginning because of having the opportunity to place a house before the TC actually goes up. Lumber camp is up for Sonder as well. Is he thinking about the feudal age soon? Could be. I'd say if Sonder wants to go for the okay, we're milling the hunt over here right next to the stone. because why not? I don't love Lowerdy's scouting though. He's kept quite a few pigs under his TZ, not really being utilizing them nearly enough to get knowledge of the map. He doesn't know the location of Sonder yet. On the other hand, Sonder has slightly more scouting, but also doesn't know the location of Lowerdy. And as could be expected of the Lithuanians with the extra food at the start, the Lowerdy is the first player going up. He's going up at 19 pop, suggesting to be that he wants to go for the scouts here, which I love for Land Nomad, playing that mobility card. Sonder not nearly full walled yet. He does have the barracks though, but lagging behind to the next age, still going to mean that Sonder may have to rely on quick walls to keep the scouts aggression out, quick walls and villager fighting. Yeah, now see now Lowerdy is committing a villager to scouting as well. He's out of pigs to do so, but you need knowledge of the map as well, need to know where the enemy might be. I think we just saw a pig running into Lowerdy's fog of war here as well, so now Sonder is about to realize what Lowerdy is up to. He's seen the barracks, should absolutely suggest some kind of scouts opening here from Lowerdy. That would be making the most sense for Lowerdy at least, but yeah, here, okay, he drops the stable in the back here. Of course, he doesn't know the Sonder's location yet, so I mean, you don't really necessarily need know where to place your army production and buildings accordingly when you actually don't know the enemy location. Going to the far off gold here, but it's up on the hill. That could prove useful if any archers come forward for Lowerdy's gold income here, so that makes sense actually. Lowerdy now has one scout out and is committing the very first one to scout the map immediately. I think he's trying to do some guess games as on where Sonder might be, so he's going to the south now. I think it would make sense to just utilize the scouts to their full potential now, not stack up on them for the forward, but just release one at a time and just scout several sides of the map. Then you can collect them later when you get an idea of where the enemy might be. I'm not sure if this is a spec bug or not, but seeing a dead Ibex here means that some presence must be there of the enemy. Sonder going for the double ranges. He is in the feudal age now, so if the scouts had, or if Lowerdy had known the Sonder's location in time, the scouts would have a lot higher damage potential. For now though, Sonder is not fully walled at all. Lowerdy is about to find Sonder's location and should be good to deal some nice and early damage here. See now Lowerdy is making use of the scouts to scout the whole map here, but he's found Sonder's location now, so now he needs to collect his army before Sonder can full wall. It's a total of 4 military for Lowerdy here. Scouts have passed Sonder's TC, so Sonder is of course reacting by going for the spearmen here. So the scouts are collected, Sonder will need to react now. He has one spear at the ready, but that doesn't change the fact that his gold is being idled a slightly bit here. One scout goes down and Sonder commits to villager fighting here until he can get more spears out on the field. Lowerdy decides to back off here. The archers have fletching, so even though the scout would have been able to take one villager pick off here, so Lowerdy didn't risk it. Now it's Sonder on the forward, and Lordy reacts here by garrisoning TC, gets some pickups here, is also on the way to the castle age, which means that knights will be on the field well before Sonder can get to the castle age and pikeman himself. Going with the archers to find the more exposed resources here though, and tries maybe to chase down the farmers. Yeah, it's going to be a huge head start for Lordy to the castle age here, and with that power spike into the next age. Unless Sonder finds this gold and can contest it, Lordy is in a great spot to close out this game. He could even drop a siege workshop on this hill and start pressuring Sonder's production in addition to going for the knights here. Sonder dealing some good damage with his archer masses though. He has 50 military to 1 now, so that's numbers that have to be considered as well. The spearman is almost picked off by the TC here, but Sonder playing full field age here for now, not going to click up anytime soon actually, but with the tower on the woodland here and the archers to protect it, Lowerty is going to be taking off the one and only woodland he has access to. One issue for that shouldn't be too much of an issue for Lowerty though. He seems to have sold stone to go up, so that's going to set him back a bit, not needing to mine stone to get more town centers up here. But he does have a market, could sell some wood and buy some stone and still be able to get the TC up here. He's going straight for the +2 and going into the knights here. You don't need a lot of +2 knights to deal with field age archers, so I think once Lordy has 2 knights he'll release and start chasing for Sonder's army down here. Sonder finds Lordy's gold though, and that's going to cripple Lordy's production quite a bit here in terms of the knights. Only going to be 3 knights total here, but with the +2 armor and Sonder still not having clicked up here. He has the mines eco to back this though. He has a huge villager lead, but he will be losing villagers. I mean, he will be keeping the TC idle for a bit while going up to the next age, so it's also a bit deceiving, these numbers. While it may have been a necessity for Lowerty to sell stone for gold, I think it was also a mistake in this regard, because with the extra stone and the wood count he had, he could have easily been on 3 TCs by now and gained a huge economic lead over the Sonder. Not to mention he could use a TC over here, for example, to protect the golds and have a garrison place for the villagers if they are subject to archers' attack. So for now, Lowerty had to relocate his gold mine, can't take gold over here anymore. He is with 10 on gold now, but that's some walking distance over here and limiting the gold income by quite a bit. Lowerty also needs an answer to the spearman here. There's still huge military lead for the Sonder here. Lowerty will be needing to add some skirmishers to contest these skirmishers. Actually counter everything in this army combo. Although knights will struggle on their own because there are spearmen in the mix. Running right into it here now. A bit of a lapse in attention there from Lowerty. Gets to weaken one of the spearmen with the town center as the knights run by. But 2 knights down for nothing here for Lowerty, and on 4 on food, 0 on gold. Here comes the TC on the gold though. So if this one goes up, Lowerty has a very secure gold spot over here. It's going to be contested by Sonder's armies though, and a great full feudal play here from the Sonder, who is just 200 food shy of clicking up to the next stage now. Lowerty really wants this town center up, but is sacrificing lots of villagers in the process here. Sends even a few more to complete it there. But look at the numbers, 48 to 28, and Sonder just clicked the castle age with superior military. Strong play by the Sonder here, I have to say. That's an unfinished TC at the cost of a lot of villager lives here, and if this were me, I think I might actually call the GG, because we're down to half the villagers of the opponent, and now Sonder is 30% castle age with the military lead, arguably even with the eco advantage here, with so many more villagers and the longer lasting mines resources. Sonder just stays here by this TC with his army to make sure that doesn't go up, and Lowerty will yet again need to find a gold source to go to. Good scouting by Lodi though, so he knows that there are lots of gold piles to flee to here. Could play Nomad, Nomad style and relocate, but the truth is to try and get this TC up instead. There are still archers and spearmen here to deny it though, so I'm not sure if this is the right call after all. Yeah, finally the TC goes up and then some archers will go down, but I'm sure Sonder is happy with the result of the damage here. Just look at the villager numbers. 48 to 21, Sonder 80% cast age. I think we're looking at a 2-0 here, unless Lowerdy makes a sensational comeback here. It's been idled so much here, and is idled yet again, garrisoning the TC. Sonder keeps the 4 archers forward here just to be plain annoying and idle Lowerdy just a bit more. And then comes the castle age. And upon reaching castle age, Lowerdy, having taken these losses down to 23 villagers, maybe suspecting Sonder to be even slower to the castle age here with the army investment and the strong feudal play here. But yeah, Sonder just hitting the right spots at the right time, knows that the Lowerdy needs to relocate to another goal, and found this one as well from earlier, having attacked this area. Just a great map awareness by Sonder there to play full feudal against the player much earlier to the castle age. (27 to 19 KD), so Sonder takes some losses as well, but the key factor here being the villager high, much higher for the Sonder, who just reached the castle age without having lost more than 1 villager. I think Lowerdy got 1 villager with the scouts, but that's about it. Stronger eco, that's Mayans eco lasting longer as well. Largest army, probably the most key factor of all in this game, with Sonder dominating in the army. Even if it's feudal age army with enough spears in the mix, there's a limit to what the knights can do as well. And then the uptimes here, significantly quicker to feudal and cast age for the Sonder, but Lowerdy, not knowing Sonder's location, didn't get full potential from his 4 or 5 scouts for the scouts opening. So that's a 2-0 for Sonder. Let's update the score and look for the next game. It will be Lowerdy's home map again, but this time around they get to pick civilizations, so the strategizing will be different here. You'd have to guess a little bit on what your opponent is going for, and try to pick the best map available for the, or best civ available for the map in question. We actually have, well, we have Mountain Pass, which is kind of like Land Nomad. But then, after that we have very water-based map left. So Water Nomad, Pilgrims, and Nile Delta. So the players have will for sure want to save Malay, Vikings, Japanese for these kinds of maps. So I got the lobby ID again, I'm going to search it up, 6012. I'm actually going to do a reboot because of the spectating issues that can happen as well. So let's just do a quick reboot and then search for the game again. Okay, so they may or may not have launched here. looks like we got pilgrims. So if I'm going to speculate about any civs here, it would be water-based civs, Vikings maybe for either of them. We could see mirrors here as well because it's a hidden pick, no repeat. Vikings comes to mind. Malay. Maybe even Berbers or Saracens. They have things going for them on land and also have naval bonuses. So that could certainly be picks as well for maps like these. And yeah, maybe actually Berbers because they have faster moving ships, so you get to the get to the mainland faster as well with pilgrims here. And Japanese and Koreans absolutely as well. Ogedai won, but we'll see what the game brings. Italians, Persians again, strong naval seals for sure as well. This is pilgrims, as we can see over here. And you start on your own little island. What is most common is to take your villagers, get to the mainland, get your TC up, and then yeah, you can only transport 5 at a time, so just make the most of what you have on land. Start collecting some wood, and then get the game going on land. We see both players now going hopefully for the mainland here, not for the small islands as we've seen players do before, to land and TC on the opponent's mainland. Looks like sometimes on pilgrims you see a lot of woodlines blocking entrance points, but this looks fairly open, many places to land here. Sonder going straight for the middle-ish here. I think that could be a good call, whereas lowered he is struggling to find the mainland, I think. Okay, so that's already going to delay Lowerdy's progress. They have a restart before 4 minutes. So let's see what this brings. Dennis Ogedai 1 says OLA will fix that. Okay, I think we're looking at the restart here. Lowerdy landing right on some wolves here. That has to be Lowerdy's restart. It's run right into wolves and uses his first restart here. And understandably so. Seems to be some wolves along the shoreline here, so that complicates things a bit for the landing, but now they know and could maybe work that out later. Alright, so it's a restart. We'll just keep refreshing here and see if we can find them. Lobby's up, and they should be launching shortly, so we'll just stick around here. There we go. Just a quick fast forward here to make sure we're not missing anything and are in fact live. Transport ships crossing each other again. Sonder goes for the mainland on the left hand side here, whereas Lowerdy will be looking out for the wolves and try not to run into wolves again. But this seems to be fine this time around. Has some good potential here with both gold and woodland, for example, near the TC. But all in all, both players should be good to go here. I think they'll both consider getting the rest of the villagers as well, just to finish building the TC even more quickly here. Sonder immediately commits one goose to scouting here and might get lucky and see that Lordy is right around the corner here. Yeah, TC is pretty close here, doesn't necessarily need to mean anything. They could wall off here or here and then at least force a landing of the opponent to deal some early aggression. Could be potential for towers here early on for whoever has stone access. And looking at the Sonder's position, it's not ideal. The gold is kind of bugged over here, and then he's kind of giving up the whole rest of the map to Lordy. So Sonder will need to contest water. He is Persians though, he probably already has the dock up, or is going to bring it up shortly, and should be in a good spot to out boom load here. Although Italians have cheaper fish, so they have a great fish boom as well. So they will both want to really control the waters here. Here's the dock for our Persians players. Sonder here. Lowry keeps committing a few villagers to the lumber camp here for now, as Sonder is transporting the sheep in for consistent food income back by the TC. He has some hunt right next to TC as well though. Villager counts dead even for now. That's going to change once Sonder gets his dock up. He's already quite rich in wood as well. Could even almost go straight into double docks production here. And amazingly so. Goes for some houses on the mainland. I like that. Needs to rush up one of them. Yeah, seems like both of the players are off to decent starts here. Let's have a look at the scouting as well. Sonder, of course, knows the enemy starting island's location, as does Lowry. And now he's been over here finding some geese near the shoreline, it seems. We'll be getting some nice scouting intel on land and 500 foods worth of geese here, sending them all the way back home to the TC. Map control wise, this is in Lowry's favor, but I know for a fact that the Sonder is much more experienced with Nomad and Nomad starts, so I'd still consider him a favorite yet again here. Persians being strong with the boom as well and the mobility on land. Italians likely to go archers on many maps, and with the Persians knights having a bonus attack against archers, that's something we could see coming into play here. Dock is up for Lowry as well though, he's going into the fish as well. Two villagers apart, not too big of a deal. Income seems roughly similar here as Lowry gets housed due to the double production here. That tends to happen a lot for most players when you're producing both fish and villagers. You have to put up the houses earlier, and you also need the wood to build the houses. And when you're making fish and chips, that's costing you wood, and then it's kind of hard to keep track of sometimes to actually have the wood to support the houses right away. Looks like Sonder is at 2 docks now. He has one near his starting island, and then he put up one near his TC as well. It's just so great dock spot here for both players actually, because there's just so much deep fish to be taken here. Water control will be huge on this map obviously, because there's so much water and deep fish to be taking advantage of here. So we have both players going up here. The difference being Sonder actually slightly ahead, and is also ahead by 4 villagers, which is should mainly be fish and chips. Let's see, it's 20 villagers for Lowry. And it's 22 for Sonder, so Sonder did get a better start all in all here. And 2 docks against 1, Lowerdy just now putting up the second dock. One thing Persians have going for them is that their TCs and docks start working faster in the feudal, castle and imperial ages. So Sonder with 2 docks up already. Granted, they have the same dock numbers, but Sonder with the 10% faster working docks will be getting his fire ships and or fire galleys and galleys out more quickly once the fuel age kicks in. He has gone to this gold though, which could be exploited by Lowerdy. If Lowerdy brings some galleys to the field and is able to mass enough units, he has an easy time denying Sonder of gold here. So that's something that Sonder will need to address. Sonder might actually need to put up a defensive tower on the shoreline here to keep the aggression from taking him off gold here. But we'll see. Lowerdy first out with producing out of both docks here for the fire galleys. Sonder not producing yet. So Lowerdy now knows the location of both docks of the Sonder. He actually doesn't know that Sonder has a TC right here, but this is going to be all about the water though. And finally Sonder starts producing out of his docks here. He will risk losing a couple of fishing ships now though, considering that Lowerdy will soon have 2 fire galleys out and is dropping his 3rd dock here. Yep, that's 1 fishing ship down for the Sonder. He will need to fight for water now, but he's also not really over investing here. He has some fish over here, and as long as Lowerdy doesn't hit these quite yet, Sonder could be in a good spot to defend on this side. Pulls away some fish over here as well, so that Lowerdy doesn't get any easy hits in, but for now, military-wise, Sonder is outnumbered near his main dock here. He keeps the fire ship close to his villagers, goes for some repairs, and has fire galley and a demo ship on the way out here now. 3 villagers tasked to repairing this 5 villagers tasked to repair this fire galley, and yeah, now Lowerdy is definitely in the lead on water here. Sonder is off gold. That's going to obstruct the production quite a bit. Sonder might even need to start thinking about some market to adjust the prices to actually have gold to produce on water here. But for now he's with consistent production out of his 2 docks. Sends out a demo, could get a beautiful hit in here now if the timing is right. Yeah, that's more than decent. Took out 1 ship and weakened 3 others. Military count is 623 though, and Lowerdy is with a more healthy gold income overall. 1 tower here from Sonder could change that though, if Sonder has the scouting on point, and he sees he has an outpost up, so he will see that Lowerdy is mining something here. This is in fact the one and only gold source that Lowerdy is taking right now. So if Sonder can get a tower up here and wall it in, then Lowerdy will need to expand and look for other places to take gold. Sonder leading builders, even losing fishing ships though. He's with 3 docks now. Will want to try and contest water here still, but it's 7-3 military, and Lowerdy is doing a good job on his home map here to contest the Persians player. And here's where Persian bonus really kicks in. The docks have double the HP of generic civilizations, so even with 6 fire galleys firing away, it's going to take a long while to take out just 1 dock here. Note that Lowerdy is spreading them out, though. He sees a flag on the dock here, knows that there might be demos in here. I need to spread out so that I cannot, so that I don't lose more than 1 ship to a demo shot here. Here comes another demo raft. I think Sonder looks at another great hit here. Kills 1, damages 1 another, so loses his own fire galley, but still deals some decent damage there. Gold is an issue for the Sonder though, and as mentioned, the towers, I just missed them, but he's going full all in on Lowerdy's mainland eco here, and Lowerdy is now the one struggling for gold. Will not be able to keep up consistent production here with these towers on the field, and both players idling a lot of villagers here to go for the towers. Good reaction from Lordy though to task all these villagers to take down the towers and not allow Sonder to wall them in here. Full unboxing fight here now. Sonder with 41 to 29 villagers though, so I think it's worthwhile for Sonder still taking these villager fights. He is losing water though, so we'll now have to try and focus on land instead. Let's look at Sonder's eco setup here. Committed to full feudal again. Its cast stage should be a long way far away for the Sonder, whereas Lordy is dangerously close to the cast stage click here. I like Lordy's position more here now, the way he's playing his second home map here. Not going to let go of water here, has so many fire galleys out, more than enough to start contesting the strong Persian docks here. Sonder with no means to get gold either. I think he knows about some gold spots on land, so he could transport over to this side to find some gold. No, actually not. Sonder has some geese chilling out here, but is not using them for scouting purposes. Otherwise he would know that there's gold up for grabs over here. Pulling off a transport, easier said than done on when you have lost water like this though. Here comes the market for Sonder. He desperately needs that for some kind of gold income. Might need to sell wood now to get gold into the bank for further income. It's a full on tower rush from the Sonder here, committing to full feudal, whereas Lordy, I think he's only missing his second building and then he'll be going to the cast stage here. There's the cast stage click for Lordy. Meanwhile, is also migrating to the northeast side here, going to find an appropriate spot for ATC and some more consistent income here. Gold situation is not great for this Pilgrim's map now. Everything is on the right hand side. Wolves chasing Lordy again. That was the reason for his previous restart, but now he's going to... He actually loses one villager here, but he's going to deal with the wolves for sure. And yeah, looking for the perfect spot for a new TC. I think he wants to go all the way over here. If he finds this gold, that's going to be his TC spot for sure. Towers in full effect on land. The towers of Sonder are going to render Lordy's starting town center completely useless here. If he keeps this up, Sonder is going to try and take this gold as well, but I believe that might be in range of Lordy's town center here, so that could be risky for Sonder's villagers over here. That's some very sorely needed gold income though for Sonder, who won't be seeing the next stage anytime soon. 8 to 2 is the villager count. Sonder will for sure be losing the rest of his fish eco here and will be desperate for some farming on land to be able to get through the ages and get to the production here. Actually clicking up here Sonder as well, so his market building paid off here. Is still going to be behind by a little bit here, and definitely going to be behind eco due to losing the fish. Quesos Bell is here. Hello. Nice to see some familiar names around. This is my Nomad tournament final between the Sonder and Lordy. See, Lordy has expanded. He actually went for a mining camp. I was expecting a TC, but he did get to this area before the cast stage, so I'm sure he just wanted to secure the gold income and then get to the TCs later on. Map control wise, I like Lordy's position though. He's with 3 docks still. His dock technologies are cheaper as well, so he can go into War Galley and these kinds of things here. He's bringing out a mangonel somewhere, so he's going for some kind of monk siege push here on the Sonder side. Meanwhile, Sonder is extending on land, putting up some outposts for scouting intel here, and he's going to drop a castle on the next gold of Lordy here, so that's Alright, great outpost there from the Sonder to actually see that this is the goal that Lowerdy has led to. Good map awareness from Sonder again here, and Lowerdy, however, will not see the castle, at least not until the TC is up. Fireships are in. Sonder will have to bail on water here, but then again, Lowerdy will be desperate for some land army now to deal with the Sonder dropping a castle. TC goes up. It is not within range of Sonder's builders, I believe. And Lowerdy, as far as I know, he doesn't have any military presence on land. He has one monk and some siege, but they are over here, so that's not going to help Lowerdy on his gold mine over here. Nice quick walls from the Sonder as well. Elephantos, yeah, maybe we'll be seeing war elephants, who knows. Lowerdy will need to escape again though. He's actually not in a position to afford another town center here. He need to use the market to sell food, buy gold, buy stone here. So Sonder yet again takes Lowerdy off gold here. I think it's going to be another mining camp over here, but now Sonder has the stable up as well. He could use the mobility to contest whatever Lowerdy wants to go for on land here. Tower's still doing work. It might even be worthwhile for Sonder to go into guard tower here if Persians even get those, actually. Yeah, they do. Because that would make it tougher for Lowerdy to push back the towers with mangonels here. We have stables producing though, light cav here, so Sonder going for the raids. Lowerdy still not with, I mean, he has 2 TCs. He is producing out of his main one here and trying to push back. But Sonder meanwhile goes for the repairs, or is going to keep those towers alive and just not allow Lowerdy to take any gold here. I mean, at this point, with Lowerdy controlling water, I feel like he should even consider to go back to the little island here and mine gold. And that's exactly what he's doing, so I love that call of Lowerdy. He's going to have a gold income now. But looking at the resources, Sonder's eco is looking more healthy here. Yes, slightly more villagers. And with Persian's boom, you could still justify going for land economy to get back into it here. I heard a monk, but I don't see it, so I guess Sonder's light cap dealt with that one. Mangonel will go down as well. Okay, pull away. Pull away. That's a goner. Okay, so now Sonder, he has to suspect that Lowerdy has relocated somewhere again. He could even use these geese to scout the right hand side just to see if Lowerdy is somewhere else. And yes, Ogana 1 Sonder is a beast indeed. Siege workshop for the Sonder now is wants to keep pressuring this area, I believe. There is one monk out on the field, that should be a conversion for sure, yeah. But the workshop goes up and Lowerdy is, I don't know what the plan is here for Lowerdy, but he's going to the north now. Getting some value of his freshly converted knight though. His team is in my 2v2 final too. Oh wow. So okay, so spelling that's Sonder and Arslan Benzer and you, is it? In that 2v2 tournament? Okay, no, just those two, okay. Nice. Sonder is a very solid player. He is 1500 plus after all, and applying some serious pressure here. TC is down, so now Sonder can safely take the gold over here. He is neglecting to address the fact that Lowerdy has relocated over here though. Oh, you got eliminated in the first round, Casus Belli, so Casus Belli. That means that you're not abusing your admin rights, at least. All in all, I think Lowerdy has done a great job at keeping this TC producing and keeping the eco somewhat alive here. It did lose Did lose possession of this gold due to the towers, but all in all I think it's stabilizing nicely. The villager counts are even, but Lordy has the Italian fish boom going for him, so he's going to have a nice food inco working for him, and should be looking at an earlier Imperial Age than the Sonder if he can keep this up. Barracks in the north, barracks in the south. A little setback for Italians in the Imperial Age is that they don't get Halberdier, so if Sonder gets to the late game and gets to Paladin and these things, it could be looking rough for Lowerty. But then again, Italians, if they can get their castles up, they have access to the Genoese crossbowmen, which is a very, very good counter to mounted units. So they're really going to go for the turkey boom over here. He's starving for food apparently, and he's going to make use of all of these turkeys now. Looks like Trash Bows is the play here as well. He has the castle already, and now dropping the ranges. So if Sonder researches Commander Run, if he didn't already do so. He didn't yet, but looks like that's in the plan here to go for the Trash Bows. Looks like Sonder has more presence on land after all, as he mostly do here. He is denying a lot of this area. However, fails to acknowledge that there's something going on there down here. I like the Pike's addition of Lower D. You would expect Persians to go for their mounted units, their strong knights and paladins, but then there's the Trash Bows that will deal with this handily, and Lower D currently sitting with no stone whatsoever, so his Genoese crossbowmen are far away for now. So looks like a scorpions and crossbows push here from the Sonder. He's making crossbows before Commander Run though, and I don't love that. That's essentially a waste of gold. For rank maggots, Pikes front, Genoese behind. Yes. Lord of the Rings quote there. Look at Sonder trapping the pikemen here in the middle of all these buildings. I'm not sure if it was even intentional. I think it is actually intentionally blocking the pathing here and securing his stone. What a play. Lowerdy is, as expected, going to the Imperial Age first though. He does have that food income from water. Only 15 though. That's a very low food eco to go to the Imperial Age with. But he's going for the barracks and ranges here, so he's thinking about Pike's arms push here, maybe some siege to back it as well. Interesting. And now Sonder is on the move. Is he thinking about another castle? That's never going up. We need to play quick while here now, Sonder. I've ordered Lord of the Rings Trilogy single tome edition as a self, 2021%. Ah, nice. So Imp on the way for Lower D, but again, as said, he hasn't been mining stone at all, and he doesn't really have any stone access. It's down here though, he could go for that, of course. He has the water control, so that's not off limits. Sonder going for the 4 villagers castle again here, but now with crossbows to back it. And let's look at Sonder's eco if he's closing in on Imp. Not really. So there we have Imperial Age for Lowerty. He is at 71 villagers versus 88, so that's nothing too special there. He has 4 infantry and 12 ranged units now, going exclusively into the skirmishers here. Elite skirms against the Persian trash bows. Okay. Pike's skirm, I guess that's a good call. He even has capped rams in the mix here, so he's going very for a very defensive approach here. Meanwhile, we have the Sonder taking some map control here in the north, unload his side production here. So not going to be seeing much army from this area. Let's see what the Rams can do here though. Sonder, he doesn't have any specific cavalry right now. He has one cavalry, so that's not going to deal with the Rams with pikes inside for sure. This fort castle will go down. It will not be too huge of a loss for the Sonder though. He is extending into cavalry now. So he has something to deal with the Rams here, and he's stopped committing to the crossbows actually. Rare occasion that we see old Persian unique tech could be useful, yes. What was that? Oil. Something with oil, I think it was called the previous Persian unique tech. Boiling oil, that's it. Pike and siege push certainly working out against the trash bows forward here. Lower D still with control over water. I don't see the Sonder contesting that easily in any way here. Elite skirms pushing now. The damage output for a mix of elite skirms and pikes is very limited though. I mean, you take out buildings with the Rams, sure. A war elephant! We have a war elephant! Too bad it garrisoned on the wrong side, but it's a fantastic choice against the Rams here. No monks in place here for Lowerdy, so the knights and war elephants will actually clean up this push, and then the knights and elephants can start contesting the skirms. Oh, I love these tanky boys. War elephant, 450 HP. Even pikes aren't really a threat here. If Sonder gets 10 or 20 of the war elephants out, there's not too much Lowerdy can do, especially not without access to Genoese crossbowmen. Ram push keeps coming, but the pikes are lacking here for Lowerdy now. $103 against 73 villagers for Sonder here. Sonder still has the map control over here, and will probably be focusing mainly on this area now. So I like Lowerdy's initiative here, but he's not succeeding in taking out the castle. He is in Imperial Age after all, but he doesn't have stone for a castle. So he can't really use trebs and arrange. I believe Italians get bombard cannons, so that could be a play here actually from the siege workshop if you have chemistry. But the push fails. Lowerdy realizes this has gone too far. Persians with the boom, it's taking over. I did lose water, and actually Sonder is kind of slightly back on water here as well, but land is what matters. This area may be crucial, the player placing TCs here and being quite close. By the way, we don't hear the game sound. It's too low then. Yeah, could fix that. Well, that actually concludes it. It's going to be a 3-0 for Sonder. It didn't seem like an easy victory. I think Lowerdy played well as well. But I think it comes down to Nomad experience and build order, if any, for Nomad. Look at Sonder's fights here. Playing the map, denying Lowerdy of gold at just the right moments. And finally taking it to 3-0, taking both of Lowerdy's home maps. This seemed like a match that Lowerdy could have done great with early on though, but he received strong towers pressure from the Sonder here, taking this stone mine in the feudal age, committing to a longer feudal age, a couple of towers to take Lowerdy off this gold, forcing him to flee to another gold, which Sonder later castle dropped, and again had to relocate, and that's lack of gold that became an issue eventually. Good look at the uptimes here as well. Sonder slightly later to the castle age, nothing too significant, but also the Imperial Age, which didn't seem to be too huge of an issue for the Sonder here. GG, well played though. Well earned victory to Sonder, as Lowerdy says, but well played to Lowerdy as well, to going all the way to the final.